Do these exercises, you will be able to play bar chords. Hey everybody, Johnny Stewart here. I've got some tips to help get you playing bar chords like it's nobody's business. What is one of the hardest things about bar chords? Getting your finger all the way across the strings. That is the hardest thing, obviously. The first key to playing bar chords is having a good anchor with your thumb. And that is not to say that you're going to press so hard that you're going to knock the guitar out of whack and have to do a truss rod adjustment on the neck. I'm just saying anchor it firmly. So for instance, here we go. So if I'm going to play an A, I'll be at the 5th fret. See, this is where I want my index finger. Right behind that, look where my thumb is. Right behind the 5th fret, my thumb is going to be pressed firmly. Again, not super strong. You don't want to snap the neck, but just firmly enough so that you can use it as an anchor and use it for leverage. And then you're going to take your index finger and put it all the way across that 5th fret for the A. Do this for 3 or 4 days and just practice it for 2 or 3 minutes at a time, a couple times a day, and then all of a sudden, it's going to be a lot clearer for you. Now, if you're finding this video helpful, please hit that like button because that tells YouTube that people are enjoying the video and it'll push the video out to more people so they can learn from it too. There are some exercises you can do to get your hand in shape for this and to get your wrist in shape for this, because really, to make a great bar chord, you want to turn your wrist in. You want your wrist to be turned in a little bit so that you can put the right leverage on, and then take that index finger and put it all the way across those strings. And that happens the best when you can turn your wrist a little bit. So how do you exercise your wrist and your hand to be able to do that better? To get all the muscles and ligaments and tendons in my hand and my wrist ready for this and to help stretch them out. Just like if you're playing a sport. If you want to train for something, you've got to limber up. So these are good stretches that you should do every time you play. Just take your hands, limber them up a little bit like this, pull gently, and I mean gently, back and forth, just gently, till you feel just the slightest little bit of stretch. Don't do anything that's painful. If it's painful, then stop, and don't do it. And then take your wrist, and take your hand like this, and open up your palm all the way with your wrist bent a little bit. And now take your index finger and put it toward your thumb. And then take your middle finger and put it toward your thumb. Then back out. Then your ring finger, put it toward your thumb. And then your pinky finger, put it toward your thumb. And do that a little bit. Do that a few times a day. Don't do it in public because people are going to think that you are really weird. When you're watching TV, when you're sitting there, just do this a little bit. It's going to get the muscles conditioned and it's going to stretch. It's going to help stretch out your hand. And then trust me, that is the position you want to be in, because what you ultimately want is for these two fingers to be in sync. You want your index finger and your thumb to be totally in sync when you make a bar chord. Really, for most bar chords, all you have to do is keep those top 2 notes and your bottom note ringing through, because you're going to be doing things with these other 3 fingers, such as a major chord. And for an example of a major bar chord, you can watch my video on the F chord, the dreaded F chord. But really, the dreaded F chord is dreaded not because it's an F. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything and you can see all my new videos when they come out. So for this example, I'm going to use a G major chord, and this is what it'll sound like. Notice the position of my index finger when I'm making the bar. I'm not putting my index finger flat all the way across the strings like this, if you see. I'm actually playing with this part, with the part facing my thumb. So my hand is actually angled in, and that's why it's important to bend your wrist a little bit, and pressing with your thumb on the back of the neck is going to help you to play with this part, this side of your index finger, and make the bar with that. So instead of trying to use the fleshy part of your finger like this, you'll use the bonier part that has less meat, basically, on it, and that's going to help you make that better bar and help those strings ring through. I'm going to show you a different kind of bar chord. Now this is similar to the bar chord that I showed you before, but this one might be a little bit easier to play. Maybe it'll be a little bit harder to play, but either way, you will be able to play it if you follow these tips and keep practice. So for this type of bar chord, we're only going to use 2 fingers, and this is a chord that you can play all the way up the neck. Let's, for example, play a B chord. So, excuse me giving you the bird, I'm not trying to. You're not going to be playing with your middle finger, but there's really nothing else you can do with it. So I'm going to tuck it back here just to show you what I'm doing with my index finger and my ring finger, but you wouldn't normally want to play like this probably because it'll be very awkward trying to make other changes. So when you play it, you'll just keep your middle finger out there. But for the sake of decency, I'm going to tuck it back here so you can see just what I'm doing with these fingers. Now again, you're not going to play the low E string. You're going to make a bar across those 5 top strings with this finger, with your index finger. Remember, you want to be playing with this part of your finger, the side of your finger, not the pad. And you want to arc your wrist a little bit and push back a little bit, and that'll help you create that good bar. What you're going to do is you're going to create a second bar, a shorter bar, with your ring finger. And with your ring finger, you're going to press that ring finger on 3 strings. You're going to be pressing the ring finger on the 4th fret of your D string right here, and your G string, and your B string at the 4th fret, and it's going to go straight across. And that is going to be your B chord. Now you can also do a C chord like that, or a C sharp, a D flat, or a D, or an E flat, or an E, or an F, and right up the neck. Now this one is tricky because you've got to learn how to press that ring finger and get basically the pad of your ring finger across 3 strings, and only 3 strings. You're going to want to exercise this finger and just practice just laying this finger across those 3 strings. And you can do it on any position of the neck, whatever's easiest. And wherever it's easiest for you to do it, just keep practicing it, keep trying it, just that finger. And trust me, within a few days, it's going to get easier. Within a couple weeks, it's going to get easier still. So don't expect to just sit down and all of a sudden, comment below and tell me what else you want to see. Thanks for being here in John's Guitar Lounge. You take care.